Hey, my name is Jamey Arent, and in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to memorize every single note up and down the fretboard. In all my years teaching, one thing that I've found is that many students struggle with the ability to quickly identify all the names of the notes up and down the fretboard. I've met a lot of students who can play a lot of songs and a lot of great stuff on the guitar, but struggle when it comes to being able to name certain notes on the guitar neck. And there are a couple reasons why this is the case. First off, you can learn to play a lot of songs and licks on the guitar without really needing to know the names of the notes up and down the fretboard. But also, the guitar is a particularly challenging instrument to learn the names of the notes. Take the piano, for example. On the piano, you have a block of 12 notes, and that same little block repeats up the keyboard. So if you memorize all the notes in that one little block, you'll know all the notes up and down every single octave on all 88 keys. The guitar, however, is set up in a very strange way. We have strings that make these horizontal lines, we have frets that make these vertical lines, and say that E above middle C on the piano, that same pitch just happens one time. Whereas on the guitar, that exact pitch happens 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you have one of those 24 fret shredder guitars, 6 times. That means you're memorizing the same pitch in 5 or 6 different places. So to really know your way around the guitar, it takes a little bit more time. This is also the reason why guitar players are generally weaker readers than other instruments. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you a simple way to memorize all the names of the notes up and down the fretboard in just a few simple steps. So the first thing you'll need to know are the names of all the strings open. This is probably something you already know, but just to review, E, A, D, G, B, E. That's from the low string, the low 6th string, to the high string, the 1st string. And an easy way you can remember that is eat, a, darn, good, breakfast, early. Now that you've got that memorized, the next thing we're going to use as a method to help us learn the names of the notes up the fretboard is the major scale. So any major scale follows a pattern of half steps and whole steps. So just to review on the guitar, a half step is just moving up by 1 fret. And a whole step is moving up by 2 frets. So the major scale is made up of just a combination of half steps and whole steps. And that pattern is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. For this example, we're going to look at the C major scale because there are no sharps and flats. The C major scale is made up of all natural notes. If we're comparing this to the piano, the C major scale is all the white keys. So using that whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half pattern with the C major scale, our half steps are going to be between E and F and B and C. Every other interval in the scale is going to be a whole step. C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. Now E to F is a half step. F to G is a whole step, G to A is a whole step, A to B is a whole step, and then we finish out with B to C, which is a half step. So thinking about the major scale in the key of C, all you have to remember is that it's always going to be up by a whole step or 2 frets, except between E and F and B and C. And if we take a look at the piano again, you'll notice that between E and F and B and C, there's no black key in between, right? It's just a half step, E to F. So on the piano, all those whole steps have a black key in between, but between E and F and B and C, or between the 3rd and 4th scale degree and 7th and 8th scale degree of the major scale, there's no black key there. It's just going to be a half step from one note in the scale right to the next with nothing in between. So that piano reference can be really helpful. So we're going to apply this now to the guitar, and we're going to do it one string at a time. So we're going to start with the E string, the low E. So what we're going to do is play the C major scale on the E string only, but starting on an E. So instead of C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, we're going to start on an E and play it from E to E. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. And remember, you're going to always go up by 2 frets, except between E and F and B and C. So if we start with an E, well, right there, E to F, that's our exception. So we're just going to go up 1 fret, or a half step. Now F to G, we're going to go from the 1st fret to the 3rd fret. Now G to A, that's a whole step. A to B, another whole step. Now B to C, there's one of our exceptions. That's just going to be up 1 fret, or up a half step. C to D is up a whole step. And D to E, another whole step. So we're always just going to skip a fret, with the exception of E to F and B to C. So you get something like this: E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. And once we reach the 12th fret, we reach the same note we started on, an octave higher, because the 12th fret is the octave point on the guitar. And your guitar may have some sort of special inlay on the 12th fret, or if you look at the fret markers, 2 dots, that indicates the octave. And everything beyond that is everything below, just up an octave, just kind of squished in there. So for the purposes of this lesson, we're only going to look at everything that happens up until the 12th fret. So the way you can memorize this is just by playing it, looking at the fretboard, and saying the names of the notes as you do it. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. And then it's very important to take this same exercise and go backwards. So you're really reinforcing where those notes are. E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E. And of course, you'd never normally play a scale on the guitar on one string, but for this exercise, we're really just isolating one string at a time, so you can really learn the names of the notes on one string before moving on to the next. That's why we're playing it like this. Another thing you may have realized, if this is an F on the 1st fret and a G on the 3rd fret, what's this note on the 2nd fret? Well, that note we would either call an F sharp, one higher than F, or G flat, one lower than G. And the name we give it depends on the key we're in. Just go ahead and practice one string at a time. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Take it backwards. E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E. And when you get comfortable with that string and you can name all the notes up and down, then and only then move on to the next string. So let's look at the A string. We know we start with an A. So remember our rule. It's always going to be skipping a fret or up a whole step except between B and C and E and F. So A to B, that's a whole step. We're skipping a fret. Open to 2. Now here's B, so B to C, that's going to be a half step. C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. Now we're on E, so E to F, that's our half step. F to G is a whole step. G to A, there's a whole step. Let's do the D string. It's an open D, so D to E is a whole step. Now here's E to F, there's our half step. F to G, we skip. G to A, another whole step. A to B, another whole step. B to C, there's our exception, up a half step. And C to D, right? Anytime we reach the 12th fret, it's the same note as the string open, just an octave higher. Now let's do the 3rd string. G to A is a whole step. A to B, another whole step. Now here's B to C, that's a half step. C to D is up a whole step. D to E, up a whole step. E to F, there's our half step. And F to G, that's a whole step. And remember to take all these up and down. So let's do the 2nd string, B. Right off the bat, B to C, that's a half step, so we're just going up 1 fret. C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. E to F, there's our half step, just up 1 fret. F to G, G to A, another whole step, and A to B, another whole step. And then we have the high E string, but you already did the low E string. It's going to be the exact same pattern. So you already know that one. So you really need to only memorize 5 strings. But I can't stress enough, don't try to do all this in one sitting. Take one string at a time and get really comfortable memorizing one string up and down before moving on to the next. And then once you do that, you can quiz yourself. And here are a couple ways you can do that. You can get some flashcards of all the notes and just pull out the flashcard. And if the flashcard says G, you have to find a G on every string. Or B flat. You can also get 2 stacks of flashcards, one that has all the note names and one that has the numbers 1 through 6. So then if you pull out 5th string D, you have to find a D on the 5th string. And you can really reinforce that knowledge. So knowing the names of the notes is very important. It'll help you in situations when you're playing with other musicians, especially people that aren't guitar players, and it'll make learning a lot easier, whether you're taking lessons, learning from lesson videos, or just communicating with other musicians. So I definitely recommend doing this. It'll make you more of a complete musician. Once again, my name is Jamey Arent. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.